Hey guys, so today's my birthday and I couldn't find my crown, but in my next video I'll be wearing it because I'll have found it by then, hopefully. And right now we have Gulliver's Travels, and since I know this sounds selfish, but since I don't feel like doing a lot of work, I'm just gonna make two videos today. One with actually having a work and one about a magic card game, and I figured I'd do that. And so I'm just gonna do a short book, Gulliver's Travels, because it's my birthday, yay. Lemuel Gulliver has an itch to travel the world, but whenever he steps on a ship, something goes wrong and he ends up in a strange land no one has seen before. First, he's taken prisoner in a kingdom where the people are only 6 inches tall. Then, he becomes a pet in the country of giants. He rides on an island that floats across the sky and lives with noble talking horses. Who knew there were so many odd places and creatures under the sun? Look at the tiny cows. They're tiny. And there's a ship. So right here he's tugging in warships, cause back in Lilliput the people cheered my victory. I was a hero. They plucked the arrows from my skin and soothed the cuts with medicine. So yeah, he saved Lilliput. Now that makes me think it's a lily pad, and maybe that's why it's an island, and all the people are tiny, because they're on lily pads. And so really he's just swimming in a lake with lily pads and lily pads that have people on them. Okay. As the farmer, okay, so he becomes a pet to a farmer and he sells me to the queen. Well, sells the Gulliver to the queen for 1,000 pieces of gold. As the farmer gathered his gold, I asked the queen for a favor. Could Glumdalglitch stay by my side? She had always treated me with kindness, and I needed a nurse to take care of me. Her Majesty agreed. The farmer also agreed, knowing his daughter would live well in the palace. The girl was full of joy. Full of joy. Yay! Okay, so he goes to meet the king. At first, he thought I was a rodent. Then he said I must be a wind-up toy. But when I spoke, he could not hide his surprise. He welcomed me into his palace, and it's really nice knowing that the king and queen and the rulers of their kingdom, the kingdom of giants, are like really, really nice. Letting a girl and a tiny teensy weensy boy into their palace just because they're cool. Yay. And not ordering the farmer to give them the person for free, but buying it. Oh wait, that's slavery. It's still a good book. And then here he ends up talking to horses because he's nice and horses can talk. And on the front, of course, we're all the tiny people. Dang it. They're mountains and houses that can't be supported on a lily pad. Well, okay. Honestly, the really only thing bad about it is that every time he goes to an island, he's either tied up like a monster, the Lilliput, the tiny island, where he has to escape, is a tiny slave, also where he has to escape. And then on the island that floats in the sky, there's nothing wrong with that island. It's considered very boring to him. He also gets upset when he figures out, what was the person? One second. Here's the island in the sky. And then here he's visiting a necromancer. And I asked to meet Alexander the Great. The governor wagged his finger, and Alexander appeared before us in full armor. I had long admired the commander. His travels were even greater than my own. I had read once that a traitor had poisoned him, but the great hero had said he had not been poisoned. He had died of a fever. Many poisons can cause a deadly fever, I pointed out, but the noble ghost explained that his fever had not been caused by poison, it had been caused by drinking too much wine, so he had only himself to blame for his death. Learning the truth did not make me any happier. So yeah, he also meets a dead person. And there's actually nothing wrong with that. He's just a bit sad. So, and when he meets the horses, he's kicked out because they don't like the fact that he's a human. They enjoy him first, but when they find out that he's a human, they kick him out. And so, honestly, I really, even though every adventure ended in either being in chains, being a slave, just missing home on the floating island, being sad, or being kicked out. Because he was happy on the horse island, he was just kicked out. Even though it all ended in tragedy, I actually really like the book. It's a really great book. You meet a lot of different characters and things, and rivalries, and war, and wonder, and diplomacy, and all that stuff. And I just find it really awesome. It's funny. Some parts of it are funny. Some parts are actually sad. So, if this were a longer book and more detailed in its explanation of characters, it would be a classic novel. But it's a kid's book. It says classic. And so, it's a great book. This was a really short episode. And so, bye.